So John, tell us why you use 3D.
Well, I use 3D in several ways. Just so you know, my client base is all revolving.
Okay.
So they're all in coaching programs essentially. So every 3 months is 3D time. And I don't use it nonstop.
Sure.
Every 3 months is 3D time. What I'm trying to do is I want to capture it when they're hitting it really good.
Interesting.
I want to be able to save that. You know, I'm not trying to make a perfect golf swing.
Sure.
Right? So, but when
you're
they're
not chasing a look.
Not chasing a look. I'm not chasing numbers either. When they're hitting it the best, I want to see that.
Okay.
Right? And then we have assessments for how they're actually moving, whether I can get more speed out of them,
okay,
whether I can get better club delivery out of them. All that sort of stuff that comes from, you know, hey, I'm getting better data on the difference between torso and pelvis at impact.
Sure.
And look at that. It's going to improve our low point control, ball striking.
So you touched on a lot of really good subjects there. You know, one thing that I'm curious about, you talked about how you can improve the golf swing with 3D. Talk to me about injury prevention. How can you use 3D to pinpoint a player's risk of injury?
Right. One of the things that I see, you know, mostly juniors to mini tour professionals, one tour player, I see some things, especially in kids, that really alarm me, like gross over rotation,
okay,
right? Creating massive extension of the spine at the top of the backswing.
Sure.
I see stuff like huge right side bend,
crunch bend,
right? The right side crunch. And one of my big ones is having the hips wide open at impact and the shoulders way back here. And
ouch.
Yeah, they're just going to get hurt. And I've said this just recently. Look, I don't care where this ball goes. This is not a matter of whether you can play well,
sure,
or play college. It's a matter of whether you can play golf anymore.
Right.
And a 14-year-old kid with tour speed, right, at 14,
can't stabilize it.
Oh my goodness, it's just awful. And his dad, thank goodness, yoga instructor. He goes, it's got to be fixed. So now the kid is a ton better. And another case of going from 7.5 and more degree path down to 1, 2, and 3.
Talking radar path number.
Right, yeah, the club delivery, right?
Yeah,
I don't want that club getting, when you got high speed, I don't want to see you getting out that kind of far.
So you almost slow him down for a little bit to where he can control his body.
Right.
And then once he gets stronger, a little bit older, now he can start to
Right.
speed it up because he's in a more stable place.
Right. Then you can use the avatar to help him look into the monitor in live mode.
Sure.
And real-time feedback.
Sure.
So it's another set of eyes for a guy.
Talk to me a little bit about video versus 3D. How does video distort what you're seeing?
Well, the problem is that video is only looking from one plane and can't follow you around.
No depth. Right?
So you really don't get an accurate picture. You know, you'd have to, I can't remember all the data people have given me about the way you'd have to position the camera and stuff, but it can't capture what 3D can. We were talking about interesting case with 2 cameras that I set up where the camera lens hoods were touching. Down the line,
right,
target line view, and the videos were completely different. And it was the same swing, and maybe 4 inches of lens
right,
difference in placement, and I got a totally warped view.
Yeah, so one instructor sees, one lens, one instructor sees over the top, one lens, one instructor sees perfectly on plane or even slightly, maybe underneath. And you're talking this far apart?
Yeah.
That's
put a video camera up head high on a golfer and put it down knee high. The exact same angle.
Major distortion.
They're totally different.
So tell us a little bit about the previous barriers to entry regarding 3D. You know, we get it a lot. People are, 1, afraid of it. 2, cost to entry was a big factor. And then 3, you needed a lot of space, or you know, you had heavy systems that required a lot of calibration, a lot of time to set up.
Not many guys can afford an optical system.
Okay. $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 systems, right?
You know, not only that, but can you ever make that money back?
Good point.
So now, I mean, I think I paid $12,500 for my first 3-sensor, 6-degree of freedom system.
Wow.
3 sensors. And now we're talking maybe 2 lessons a month, right?
Our $200 a month service agreement.
Maybe 2 lessons a month, and I've got 17 sensors, and I have updated hardware, updated software included in it. I think it's the way to go. I got kind of the short end of the stick on a piece of very expensive equipment, and you know, this they came out with a new version.
Sure, right after you purchase yours.
Yep.
Right.
So I get to go buy another one again, or not, and
Sure.
instead, if I had leased a system where they just, I'd go that way.
Sure. So, you know, the other barrier is education, and that's one of the reasons you're here today, is to give pros at home a way that they can understand what curves mean, how to apply the curves in their everyday lessons, and then understand some of the other biofeedback or biomechanical features that we give. Any thoughts to that?
Well, I really do think that the graphs are important, although I can teach with just the avatar just fine, because as everyone will see, we're going to get some numbers up there.
Sure.
With bars going through the body segments that we're interested in looking at. So you don't have to be able to read the graphs, but for me, I really like it, for one, but I can see it in even better detail because I can see how the movement's going on.
Sure.
Just a little bit more clearly than just the avatar.
Cool.
But the avatar with the numbers up, pretty darn good.
Awesome. Well, let's get suited up and let's start talking about some of the cool features that we have in the software, and we'll take a look at some graphs.
Sounds good.